Do you not have much clarity on what your actual return is or will be in IUL? Although this is the problem for most people, it's actually very simple to find out. The problem is you usually aren't shown. Welcome, my name is Daniel McCluskey. I have a few dozen clients in IUL where I primarily specialize, and to see your internal rate of return, it's actually very simple. You should be turning on your internal rate of return report or the IRR columns report when you are running a hypothetical illustration. This is something your agent should be doing. They usually just need to click a simple button. I'm going to show you that in two different softwares here. And then lastly, what you as a client should be looking at, what numbers should you expect to see so that you know your policy is structured correctly. Let's get into it. In our first example, this is a software that an agent would use to run illustrations. We have our case design, the insured, all the different information they put in, and then the output design at the bottom. If we select that, we can see there is an internal rate of return button. This is not automatically turned on. You have to check this so then you can see it. When you run that, it can vary, but sometimes it's at the end of your illustration. You can see here, there's a specific page for your internal rate of return. This is a 45-year-old funding the policy with $1 million over 5 years, but you can see the internal rate of return on the contract value, the surrender value, and the death benefit every single year. So in this case, if it was illustrated at a 6.42% rate of return, then you can see, okay, retroactive back to day one, what are the net amount of fees that are coming out based on how the policy is performing. You can see that again in the contract value, the surrender value, and the death benefit. And then you can continue that out farther than just 15 years and continue to see the longer you hold the policy, the better the internal rate of return gets. These are numbers usually within 1% after that amount of time that you should expect to see. Here's a second software again where they would run illustrations. We have all of the different information on the left. At the bottom, again, output design here. And then this one already has it checked. It's usually not. This was me that manually checked it. But you have to see there's IRR columns. You want to make sure you check that so you can see that report when the illustration is ran. Once you do that, with this carrier, it's not a report at the end, but it's actually in the non-guaranteed policy values section. So they're illustrating here at 6.3% rate of return. And then you can see your cash surrender value internal rate of return based on that illustrated rate. So the surrender value here, 2.98% after 10 years. On the death benefit, 12.84, of course, much higher. And then the longer you hold the policy, the more that internal rate of return is going to increase. Why? Again, that's because the fees are front-loaded in IUL, so the longer that you hold the policy, again, it should be close to within 1% of that illustrated rate over 20 to 30 years. Hopefully this provided some clarity. Again, this should be very simple to see. These aren't guaranteed, but they are numbers that you should be looking at. If you are curious what this would look like for yourself, book a 20 minutes quick consult down below with myself. I'm more than happy to do that. Otherwise, subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Bye-bye.